A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
In the front, Fuzzy again!
Coach LaBelle, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, man.
Thank you
Good.
for asking me to hop on today. I'm really excited for this.
Dude, of course, man. This is it, man. This is who I see more than my family now. I'm at nights. I'm going to Andrew Pawlowski's
Same
gym.
here. Yeah, I know. I see
And
my team and everybody else there more than my family a lot
that's
of
it.
days too.
That's it, man. But it's a grind, but it's a fun grind. You know what I mean? But anyway, I just want to thank Chariho, honestly, because me and my father, I was associated with Chariho a little bit from the fall season doing soccer commentary, but for them just to be so awesome, to just sit us down, take us at courtside seats, man, have the desk set up. I love it, man. It feels awesome there. It feels different there. I love being a part of it.
That's why I'm back there, man. I mean, I had so many great experiences there, not only as a student athlete, but just a student in general. Like, even the teachers are amazing there. The administration's amazing. And I had so many great coaches and so many great teammates growing up that I felt like I wanted to be able to help give back in any way that I could. And I'm so happy that it lined up to where I'm, being the head varsity girls coach now, going into my 4th season. Everything happens for a reason. I was faced with some tough decisions, when COVID hit, but I'm so glad, especially being on the girls side, like being able to help boost the interest in the girls program at Chariho, because it was down for a while, and to get it to where to the place where it is now, where we're a Division I program and we've had a lot of success over the past few seasons, has been amazing.
That's awesome, man. So such a great talker. I can already tell, Coach LaBelle, man. You said 24 years old. We were talking before the mic. You got the job at 21 years old or 20 years old, right?
21.
Tell me the feeling being a 21-year-old man, right? Obviously, you're an adult, but you're still young compared to all these other coaches. You look around, the youngest you usually see at the high school level is maybe 30s, and you see guys that are 60, 70 coaching. How did you feel going into that type of field, knowing that you were probably the youngest in the state?
Yeah, I knew that going in for sure. But I've always tried to be as confident as I could be in myself. I struggled with that at some points as a student athlete, just because I was always so hard on myself. And that's why I'm so big on my players of like, next play, you got to be confident in yourself, because if you're not confident in yourself, then, those results are never going to, come to fruition. But yeah, it was an amazing feeling. I actually got to coach my sister my first year too. She was a senior, and she hadn't, played basketball since her sophomore year because she tore her ACL, and, she didn't necessarily like the coach that was there before. And, there wasn't many girls playing in general. So she decided to take her junior year off. And, as soon as I got the job that summer, she was like, hey, I want to give it a try. So, obviously I had access to the gym, got her in there as much as I could. And then, she gave it a go. It was a little bit tough at first for her, just not only adjusting back to the varsity level of basketball, but just learning how to be a leader, because she was really the only senior on our team that we had. And she did a great job of leading the eventual group that just graduated as well. But yeah, just being able to coach at such a young age, I'm so fortunate. I know that doesn't happen for really many people at all.
Right.
And I knew it was always something that I wanted to get into. So when I saw the opportunity, I knew I had to go for it. I had previous coaching experience too, helping out with different AAU teams, helping coach at the Hoop Academy basketball camp that runs throughout the summer. Many of our listeners, may have their kids go to it, or may even go to it themselves if they're a camper. But now I'm a co-director of that. I help, run at different locations at Chariho, Westerly, Stonington's a big one. We have one at Fitch in Groton, Franklin Elementary School in Franklin, Connecticut. So through those experiences, I felt like I was ready, and I felt like I had a lot of coaches growing up that I played for that I could take bits and pieces from and kind of make it my own. Because I wasn't trying to be one of those coaches,
Right, right.
because if you try to be somebody else, then it's never going to be authentic and your players are going to see right through that.
Right.
I tried to take bits and pieces and just tried to make it my own. And I'm still learning each and every single day, man.
That's awesome.
Despite being in my fourth year, I feel like I can take something and learn from everybody. Not only through talking to people, but just through my experiences as well. And I feel like each year I've taken a bigger step as a coach. And this year I feel like I have as well, despite our record. It's been a different group, but we're getting better every single day. And that's all I can ask for.
Oh, that's awesome, man. For real. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And you could see, honestly, man, the way that you guys, I called the first game literally in a 1 week difference. I'm not kidding you. I talked to my dad. You guys played last week on a Monday. Forgot who it was against. I think it was against Ponagansett.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday.
Was that the second home game of the season? I believe
Yes.
it was for you guys. You guys kind of it was a tough opponent, but you guys had little spurts, but they just kind of ran away with it. But towards that end of the week, it did. I don't care who it is, who you play against, right? A win's a win. You guys were moving the ball way more efficiently. You guys, the confidence was there, like we talked about. It was just from 1 week to another, it was just growth, in my opinion, just from watching you guys. And I know 1 week doesn't solve every problem, but you could tell the more games this young group plays with you, the more they've grown. Like, seriously. So,
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Thank you. It's just been getting that confidence in these girls, because, the mental side of like, oh my God, we moved up to Division I and we just lost our whole starting lineup.
Yeah.
Right. Like that definitely took a toll on some of the girls to start the season.
Of course.
And it's going, I think it has a little bit continued. The message has just been, you guys belong. There's a reason why they moved us up, and you guys are just as capable of playing at that level as this last group. And again, they've gotten better. Offense has been a challenge for sure to start this young season. But they're fighting hard on the defensive end. They're rebounding pretty well. We got to take care of the basketball a little bit more, but these girls are fighting each and every single day. And I'm just trying to keep the message as positive as possible. And at the end of the day, you can only focus on yourself. And that's just the thing with like life in general. As soon as you start comparing yourself to others and like where they're at, you're in for some trouble. You got to take yourself, evaluate yourself, and just focus on improving yourself each and every single day.
I'm the same way. That's how you got to live life. You can only control what you can control. And the way that you guys and the girls are approaching the season, obviously, like you said, Division I, you lose your whole starting five. One of the younger groups I'm sure you've coached. Tell me how it was even in the preseason, just working out together. Like, how was that like from losing your whole starting five to really not having much varsity experience? Tell me how it was to try to get that confidence going for all those guys.
It was tough, because especially because a lot of the girls on our team, it's not their main sport. A lot of them, it's like volleyball, soccer, and softball, which is great. Everybody needs to play as many sports as possible, in my opinion. That's, you're only young once. And I wish I had played one more sport.
I'm the same way
up too. I played baseball and basketball, but I always like, man, I wish I could have played like soccer or football or specifically football. I think I would have loved playing that. But it's just been trying to, keep them as positive as possible. And when they were in the gym, like try to just build them up as much as they can. Right. Like if they miss a shot, screw it. Like you get the next one, because they get down on themselves so quick sometimes. They're like, I can't shoot. Like I'm not making anything. But I'm trying to tell everybody, like, you can't let it translate to the rest of the game. Right. If you turn the basketball over, you get to go play defense. You get to go make another opportunity.
I love that.
And then if you, let up a layup or offensive rebound, you get to go play offense. Right. So that's the mindset I've been trying to have this group have. And slowly it's been starting to get better as the season has gone on. But the girls, despite having those other sports, have, made time for basketball with our open gyms in the fall. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a summer league together, because not enough people were committed to it. I hope we're able to going into next year, because I feel like that will really benefit us.
Absolutely.
Missing out on those 10 to 12 games that we play would have definitely helped us out going into this season. But it is what it is, and we're where we are now, and I'm happy with the group and how they're progressing.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, honestly, like summer ball or whatever it is, the biggest thing for even me when I was playing in soccer, and I'm sure you can agree with even you as a player, playing year round is huge, right? I think it's huge. And, lifting together, getting fit together, whatever, literally going out to eat together. Those little things, man, just they pile up. It's like homework. And then once you're ready for the test, you're ready.
Absolutely.
That's the way to do it. And life, not even just high school sports. It could be college, professional. It really doesn't matter. But Coach LaBelle, man, so we've been talking here and there about like like we said, you were such a young coach about getting the job, right? You said you coached middle school and then it just opened like
Yep.
at the right time. Like when you were applying for that opportunity, and I know I'm going back to like when you were young, because
Yeah,
I
it's
just think
fine.
it's so remarkable, and
Yeah.
it really is. It's an awesome thing. Being 21, you go and go get a job like that. It must be the greatest feeling on the planet. Couldn't imagine. Um, Tell me the biggest obstacles you've had to face since being the youngest coach, and how you've worked through those year by year.
Yeah, definitely like just, evaluating each day,
Yeah,
of how I'm structuring my practices has definitely been at the forefront, but more importantly, just how I interact with my players and my team in general, because if you don't build those strong relationships within, with yourself and the players, you don't really have anything. You can know as much basketball as you want, but if you don't get those players to trust you, that you always have their back, right, that you're going to be there for them with anything, then it really doesn't matter at the
yeah,
end of the day. So just kind of learning how to navigate that, learning how to make sure everybody is on the same page of where they stand too,
yeah,
making sure to have, meetings with individual players,
yeah.
right? To let them know where they stand, not only at the beginning of the season and like the end of the season, but during the season as well,
Oh
what they're
yeah,
doing well in practices and games. And feel like that's just important because sometimes players, I know I'm speaking from myself as a
yeah.
player, maybe you as a player, like you go through the season sometimes you might not know where you stand with the coach at some
Absolutely,
certain points,
of
so I
course.
feel like having those conversations and just being honest with the
Yeah,
players as well, because if you try to sugarcoat anything, then it's not helping them and it's not helping your team either.
right. It's just hurting
um
everything, right?
yeah, so that's definitely been, and I feel like I've done a very good job of that with each year. I think this year I've done um, one of the best jobs in that so far.
Awesome.
Continue to learn about these young players and how they want to be coached because every group is different,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh, of course.
Last year's group, they were more of like, tell them the game
Dude.
plan. They could go out and execute
Yeah,
it. They wouldn't really need me to like get on them a
right.
lot, right? But this group is a little bit different. Like I
Yeah,
need to get on them a little bit more, make sure to reset them as much as
yeah,
possible, and more importantly, give them, like I said, confidence to be able to know that they can go out and do it.
yeah.
So just learning how to adapt to each group,
I
and
love that though. That's what makes high school sports so great,
it
man.
is.
You get thrown a new group each and every year, even though you know what's coming up. You're also losing people, so it's like there's just always a new look each and every year, and that's what makes, in my opinion, high school sports coaching very difficult because you're getting new faces. You have to adapt to what you have, right? Like you said, now this year I got to push a little more in certain areas that I didn't have to last year. You know what I mean? So it's all about the group that you have, and I think that's what makes the coaching job at the high school level
Yeah,
so
and just
awesome.
going back to, being on the younger side at the time,
Yeah,
obviously I'm still on the younger side, right? But I tried to, get advice from as many people as possible on like how to run
yeah,
my team, right? Like how to make sure to act right in certain situations that I was put in.
yeah,
All those little things. I've had so many great mentors along the way that I could go to for help,
yeah.
just get advice from in general. And I continue to use those people and try to gain in more people, good
Yeah.
people as much as possible to help me out with that as
That's
well.
awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. People are willing to help too. Honestly, on the whole road, it's a whole team journey, and
You can't
the,
do it alone,
you
man.
can't.
You
You
can't.
can't. I feel like it's just something that you have to have such great support, whether it's at the home, whether it's people that have coached before that are willing to help. It's
Well, and
just
that's the other thing too. Like my family, not only, my parents, but my siblings. I'm sure a few of them are watching this right now.
oh yeah,
But they're my biggest support system. Like as soon as I got the job and, they were like, yeah, this is awesome, and
yeah,
they've supported me every single step of the way. I've had to finish my online elementary education degree
yeah.
all online. So my parents have been instrumental in, being helping me out with that,
That's awesome.
giving me a great place to live and just honestly being great role models as well. So I owe a lot of my success to my parents because without them, I wouldn't be, the person that, I am right now.
That's awesome, man. It's so important to have that, that foundation, whether it's at the home, whether it's friends, to just have that support in anything you do in life. And it seems like it's benefited you awesome.
Yeah,
So
they've
that's
always
great.
told me, hey, go after with what you
What you want,
want,
man.
because
Right. I love
they've
that.
always told me if you put your mind to something, like you can do it.
I love
They
that.
firmly believe that, and I know they firmly believe that because they constantly tell me that, and I just want to try to work as hard as possible to possibly, give back to them one day if
Of
somehow
course.
I'm able to, for sure.
Of course. That's the mindset, man. Of course. I love it. Yeah, man. I love that mindset of just doing what you want. Why settle for something you wouldn't want to do? right? So if you're pursuing something where you love sports so much, why not go for it, man? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it's not all about just taking something and not being satisfied, but you're getting paid something, right? But what's the point if you're not happy doing what you're doing, right? So it's like if you're happy with doing what you're doing, you're gonna find great things within it. And I think that we're seeing that here at this table. So
Thank
I
you. I
love it. Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. Listen, we'll dissect a little bit of the players, honestly,
Yep.
that have had through the season. I've enjoyed it so much with my father. And my father so into this, by the way. I'm shouting out Coach Ross. He's probably listening to this. I don't know if he's listening to it at work or whatever, but shout out him. He's been the biggest mentor in my life. Showed me how to be a leader in many ways. So I love you, Dad. Thank you for doing it with me, man. It's been awesome. But something you'll learn, he's a nut. Watch his film like I get home, he's watching film. I mean, he's just so on top of his stuff,
Yep.
whether it's commentating. He always wants to be the greatest at what he does. That's always just how he is. And he shows me all this preview stuff, but I laugh at him a little bit, but in the moment I'm like, this is the standard, right? Like, obviously he's probably doing way better job than I am in terms of like getting stuff prepared. But like, I'm like, man, I kind of got to catch that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the way that you prepare for things, it's just incredible once you see. And obviously he's a lot older. He's been experienced. He knows how stuff goes, but it's just incredible to me, the preparedness you have to go through things in life in general.
Yeah. When you're prepared, you're more confident.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been trying to relay that message to the team. If we prepare and practice and we
Yeah.
practice how we're supposed to, right, you should be confident when it comes to the game. And I try to take that same thing into my life too.
Of course, man.
Whether it be studying for a test, whether it be, watching film, or whether it just be, shooting for, maybe a fitness goal that I want to do or
Right.
something like that. If you're prepared, then when that time comes to try to hit that goal, then
Yeah.
you're going to be more confident, and it's going to lead to
100%.
better results.
100%. I could not agree more, man. That's why I had to shout that out, because I'm like, it makes you feel confident whether someone else is doing it, even me, like pushes me to do better.
And yeah, shout out Coach Russ. He's the man. I absolutely love him. He's such a great guy.
Yeah.
You guys both do a great job on the broadcast, and we're so happy that we have two great guys like you being able to call not only our games, but the boys' games at Chariho as well. So yeah, Coach Russ, you're the man.
All right, shout out, man. Yeah, no, it's so fun, man. Honestly, not only to just have time with him, but just to really, dissect the game from not only his perspective, but just to talk. And it's just like we're having a conversation. It's just awesome. Just there's mics on us, and that's pretty much it, man. And then, like I said, the people are great there. Shout out to AD Justin Cahoon. He always just so welcoming, all those guys, man. I believe Khalees too.
Yeah.
So welcoming, all those guys. And then obviously you, anytime I went up there, you just over there, what's up, man? Like you feel like welcomed. And Coach Downey as well, man.
Yeah.
Every time I went there, he's made sure to come up to the desk and say what's up to me and my dad. So that's just little things that I love about it, honestly.
Yeah, the Mr. Cahoon and Mr. Khalees do such a great job over there. Like they're at everything. When I tell you they're at everything, they're at everything.
They are.
They're really dedicated to the athletic program at Chariho. And with that support, it allows us coaches to be the best versions of ourselves too. Right. Because we know we have that support from both the athletic director and the assistant athletic director. They're always at the games. They're always making sure, we have everything that we need and stuff like that. So I'm really grateful to be, in the Chariho community as a coach.
It's awesome. No, for sure. You see it's live there and it's well. So that's awesome. But anyway, we'll get into the players, like we said. Someone I'm really impressed with. The couple of the young ones I'm really impressed with. I believe freshman, Tessa Aiello. Just fundamental.
Yep.
I love it. Honestly, man. Just how are these girls? Like you said, I know you install the confidence, but when they're jump from like the 8th to the 9th grade, do you see like, okay, they're coming up and they're going to be ready right off the bat? Like, how do you dissect that talent? You know what I mean?
For sure. With Tessa, I made sure to take, our high school team to as many middle school games, and I continue to do that as much as possible. It's a good team bonding experience, and it's just great for the high school girls to see the middle school girls and bringing the bridge between the two programs, right? Not just the middle school, not just the high school. We're all one.
I love that.
And then with Tessa, watching her, last year and stuff like that, like I could tell she was really strong with the basketball. She had, she dribbles the ball well. I saw that her IQ was really high as well.
Tell, right off the bat.
And obviously, you don't know how it's going to translate to the high school level just because, the game's faster.
It's a big jump.
Girls are stronger.
Huge jump.
And it's just a huge jump for a freshman to make. But she plays well beyond her years.
Of
She's
course.
composed out on the court. She has probably one of the highest basketball IQs on our team, just as far as knowing when to move the basketball,
Yep.
knowing when to shoot, knowing when to attack. She's getting better on the defensive end as well. She works really hard on the defensive end, and she's been great for us. I didn't
Awesome.
anticipate her getting this much playing time,
It's incredible.
especially early on. But I always say to my team, like, I don't care what grade you're in.
Right.
I'm going to play the best players, and she's done a great job of stepping in and being one of our better ball handlers on the team.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where it goes from there with her. Because obviously she has 3 more years in the rest of this season to continue to develop. And she's a great kid as well. Great teammate, very unselfish, and she's doing a really good job for us.
I love it, man. Yeah, to see that youth come in, obviously, like we said, that physical jump from that 8th grade, right? Everyone's your age. Then you go to 9th grade, especially if you're at the varsity level. It's just you're going against 18-year-olds, whether it's boy or girls. It's a huge jump. So the skill set might be there, but physicality, sometimes it struggles. But she stepped in there, and you couldn't even tell she was a freshman.
And she's one of the ones who I would say she plays the most basketball out of anybody who's on the team in the off season and stuff like that. And she was at the majority of the open gyms that I had. And I told her at those, I was like, hey, you're looking pretty good. You got to come with that same confidence at practices and stuff to possibly get yourself some varsity minutes. And she's done just that.
Awesome.
So it just goes to show you, you get out what you put in at the end of the day. And she put in a lot of work, and I know she'll continue to do that, not only for the rest of the season, but in the off season.
Yep. Awesome. That's awesome to hear. And I actually have a question with the seniors on the team, right? I can't believe I'm forgetting this. Is 3 or 2?
Well, there's 5 on the team.
5 on the team.
Yeah.
5 on the team. Okay.
But 3 get a majority.
Of it.
Time.
It's the Giacomo. I can't think of that. Oh my gosh.
Edmonds,
and then
O'Leary.
O'Leary is okay. I always get confused with O'Leary and Dorgan for some reason. Just commenting, it's funny. 10 and 12 always, right?
Yeah.
But describe. So obviously you lose a lot of their upperclassmen last year. I'm sure they didn't really see. Maybe a couple of them were starters. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know.
They spot started sometimes.
So with their kind of inexperience of starting, or whatever you want to call it, to come in, right? Now all of a sudden, kind of like just you're coming as a junior, you're coming a little bit here and there. Now you have to be the leaders of this team right off the bat, from that junior to senior year. Describe to me what they've done to the team this year with all the young group that they've had to deal with.
Initially, I think it was just a matter of them being more confident in themselves too. Like I remember back to our first game against Bayview, and O'Leary didn't end up playing. She had a hamstring issue to start the year. But Edmonds and DiGiacomo in that first half were just a little timid. And I told them, like, I don't care if you make a mistake, but you guys got to be the leaders out on the court. Like, when you're open now, like, you got to shoot that basketball, and you got to try to attack the basket as much as you can, because the other players are looking at you now.
Right.
So it's got to, and it is a tough thing, because we've all gone through it in our sports, right? But their growth over the course of the season has just been amazing. And not only this season, but over the course of the past 2 seasons, they really were the 3 that were rotating in off the bench for those starters. And without all 3 of them, we wouldn't have had nearly as much success as we had the past 2 seasons.
Awesome. That's
for sure. They came into so many big spots. As injuries happen, foul trouble happens, people not having their best games, and they always stayed ready. They were always team first, and they continue to be that way this season as well. They're doing a lot better job of holding people accountable. Practicing as at the standard of what you need to set the tone for the rest of the team, and their confidence has gone up exponentially. And they're great leaders for our team. And not only are they good basketball players, they're just great people in the community as well. They're all multi-sport athletes. They all excel in their other sports as well. So having those 3, and this is my first 4-year group as well.
Right,
so
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna be like,
this group is special for sure too. But just being able to get to know them over the course of 4 seasons, and seeing them grow not only as basketball players, but more importantly as people. I have such great relationships with each and every single one of them. And they're doing a great job for us this season.
That's great to hear, man. I was just gonna say, is this your first 4-year group? But yeah, it is. That's crazy. It probably went by like this. Sure,
it did.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure that just like the 4 years of high school in general. In the moment, it feels like forever. And then once you're a senior and you're done with that last sport, man, I'll never forget. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like you never step foot unless you're coaching, right? So it's like it's a whole experience. And man, being a senior. Shout out to those girls, because that maturity from that junior to senior year, knowing that you have to be responsible with them now. And now you've had 3 years where there's been upperclassmen. So it is a big jump the first couple weeks, I'd say. But once you get used to it, you're there.
And it's been a big adjustment for them, not only in that aspect, but just getting to learn how to play with a different group of girls too. You know, they played with that group that we had for 2 seasons.
Right.
3, if you want to count the first year where we were in, we were still in Division II, and it was my first year. We're all trying to figure each other out and stuff.
Yeah.
But they played with that group essentially for 3 years. And now this season, they have to learn how to play with a completely different group. Obviously, you practice and play with them throughout points of practices along the way, right? But it's different when, it's just you guys now.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And you guys got to try to figure out your roles. And, I feel like I've done a decent job at, making sure people know their roles. And,
You do. Trust me. Even the organization, that was one of the first things me and my dad said. Regardless of who you have, talent-wise, whatever.
Yeah.
The way how organized you guys were defensively, and we're pretty good at catching on defense. We were like, wow, like, this is pretty dang good. Like, everyone was in the right spots. And to me, that's just the foundation of the start of a great program, honestly. You see people are just in the right spots at the right time, because you'd be shocked. I mean, you watch film probably. Some high school teams, they're just all over the place, and it's like, what the heck? How can you do this if you have people 5 days a week? But the way that you do it, you can tell it's effective, and just keep it up. That's awesome. For real.
I appreciate
it's
that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and
I would definitely
shout out to
say
the girls too.
My strong suit is teaching defense, just because that was like the best thing that I did as a player.
I love defense, man.
The offensive side, I feel like I have done a pretty good job of.
Yeah.
I feel like in spots, I definitely can get better in that aspect, but everyone has something they can get better at.
Of course,
right?
Of course. Strives to be better.
And, hasn't been, a lack of getting good looks this year, I don't think.
No.
Especially early on. It was our turnovers that killed us. But, you look at those first few games, if the other team didn't shoot 30 more shots than us, we shot the same exact percentage as them.
Right.
It's just a matter of being able to hold that basketball and having those opportunities to be able to score.
Right. Absolutely, man. And that comes with, just like you said, being young. I love something that you did. You maxed out the schedule. We talked to have the most possible games. I'm so for that. And you're going against the better teams. Some teams you can win just to get that group the most experience they can. I absolutely love that. You guys have had great opportunities. Something I love is that dribbling, everyone can work on, but the passing aspect, you guys hit the right people at the right time. Very unselfish. Like I said, people getting in the right spots. They can keep that up, man. I'm a pass guy. I love in any sport. Passing, I think, beats a lot of things. And I think that you guys do it just as good as most people if you guys are on and everyone's focused, for sure. How do you guys just like go crazy at practice with like passing all the time? Like, how does that work? Like,
well, we definitely work a lot on passing and just understanding when to make that next pass. We've also had to work on catching the basketball, because at points we've had trouble catching the basketball at some points this year.
The best
it does happen. Yeah, it does happen. But, we've limited our opportunities to some degree by not catching the basketball in some spots. Right. And that's just because you're losing focus. You're trying to make a move before you actually have the basketball.
Right.
So it's just little things like that. But the message to them is just unselfishness. Right. One of our things, I have this thing, I made up 3 words, trying to think of like CHS. Right. Yep. And I tried to come up with 3 words that would be like match. CHS.
Yeah.
So came up with communicate, hustle, sacrifice. And that last one, sacrifice, is, I think, the most important word in my opinion. Because, you're going to sacrifice shots at some points, right? But it's going to end up leading to the rest of the team being successful.
Right.
You're going to sacrifice, working on defense. You're going to sacrifice your body for getting after balls on the ground when they need to.
Love it.
Yeah. So that unselfishness is something that I preach every single day, because I say, you can't win with just 1 or 2 scores.
You can't.
And everybody comes to practice and works so hard that when they're open and they're in their range, they need to make sure they shoot the basketball. They need to make sure they attack the basket, because if we're a more well-rounded team and we have 5 players out on the court at all times that can be a threat, we're going to be essentially really hard to guard.
Yeah, right. Of course, 100%. If more people are involved, the more people are confident that are willing to shoot the basketball. 5's better than 2. You know what I mean? So I think that's awesome. Yeah, you could tell the passing, whatever you guys do in practice or whatever, it's the chemistry's there. That sacrifice, giving up some buckets. If there's 2 people on me, someone's open. You know what I mean? Don't matter how good you are. So you could see that it's there with you guys, and it's awesome. So anyway, already half an hour through this thing. It's awesome.
Know. Look at that.
Goes by quick.
Good stuff.
Oh, great stuff, man. I love it. Huge game tonight for you guys.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been this has been a great week for the boys. Honestly, they lost last night against Mariners, Narragansett. Great performance for them. They gave me and my dad the greatest game we've watched in a long time, the Prout game at home. That was incredible. I believe it was 76-72. I'd have to check. Great game. The both teams, it was a legit game. I don't know if you were there. Were you there?
I was there. Yep.
Right. That was an awesome game for them. But yeah, obviously they're going against not the rivalry schools, but you know
they got the South County.
They
got the South County teams all coming to the Wood River Junction this week.
Awesome. It's an awesome week, man. The place is. Let me tell you something. This place gets loud, man. Andrew Pulaski gym gets pretty dang loud. I come from a Wesley guy. I never played in that gym ever. I never really went there. And to go into that environment, it's so closed in. When it gets loud, man, like especially when the other teams, like JV team or whatever, even talks, it's like a whole pound is there. That's what it's like.
It's
awesome.
It's a special environment when you get that place packed, and it's a unique gym. Not many gyms in the state are kind of set up like ours. And, when teams come to town, we try to get as many people in there as possible because I know as a player, it definitely helped us when, that student section was loud, when, all the community people, whether it be family, friends, other people are in the crowd. Like, you have that support from everybody. And as a player, I could speak for myself where like it makes you want to really get after it, if you didn't want to already.
Dude, I swear I wanted to grab a jersey in one of the games against I think the boys were playing Woonsocket, or was he? Oh, which team was it?
It was Woonsocket, I think. Yeah.
It was the craziest environment. Like, man.
You had the Woonsocket JV team going crazy over there, going back and forth with the herd. But that's what it's about.
It is. As long as no one's getting hurt.
As a player, you want that. And as long as everything stays respectful between the two sides, that you're all for that.
Absolutely, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what it's all about. That's what high school, college, the environment. That's what the players will never forget. That's what people like me and you will never forget, being involved. And it's just awesome. That's what makes sports the way it is. And tonight, you got the Wesley Bulldogs coming to town. It's gonna be a big game for you guys.
Yep.
That place, I'm thinking it's going to be one of the louder ones personally, because I think that a lot of Wesley people are coming. It's not that far of a drive. So, and we talked, this is the first time since COVID, you guys have a home game here against the Bulldogs. So you're pumped for that.
I'm very excited for that. As much as I love traveling to Federico Gymnasium, beautiful gym. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best, if not the best in the state, in my opinion, Federico Gymnasium. I loved playing there as a player, even though, we weren't able to get wins there as a player. We were always between like 5 to 10 points. We had leads and then we ended up losing them, but always great competitive basketball games, great environments. But to be able to play them at Chariho tonight is definitely going to be a little bit of a benefit for us for sure, I think. Westerly's got a really good team over there. They got a really good coach in Mike Reyes. He's done a great job with his basketball team. Again, first-year coach, having to learn all the different players. He's obviously knows some of the players from, just being around and with the middle school girls and, probably going to some of the high school games as well. But he's got that team playing at a really high level. His daughter, Ella, is really good. She can kind of do it all. She can shoot it from the outside. She can attack both ways. She's a great defender as well. So trying to limit her as much as possible will definitely be on the top of our docket tonight. But they have so many supplemental pieces as well, like Maddie Pellegrino underneath the board. She does a really good job for them of drawing fouls, setting good screens, getting offensive and defensive rebounds. Juliana Voisinette, really good basketball player as well. She can really shoot it from the outside. Can drive, very underrated driver of the basketball as well, and a really good passer. And then Kate Rafferty, she's a really solid player. She does all the little things for them. She's a great defender. She helps set up their offense sometimes, and she can shoot it from the outside as well. So we're gonna definitely have a challenge tonight with the Bulldogs. They're a fast team. They're a well-coached team. But if we can put together a complete game, I think we'll give ourselves a chance in the end. And that's all you want, is to be able to have a close game. And, anything can happen in a close game.
Absolutely. 100% agree, man. Just keep it close, obviously. In any game you play in, it's usually just have a chance at the end. That's what you want, I feel like, as a player or a coach. You just want to have an opportunity. And tonight, just such a classic matchup. I love it. I mean, I called 2 of the games for Chariho soccer, and that was the coolest thing ever when they played twice, one at Wesley, one at Chariho, and it was the coolest games I ever called. So I love this matchup in any sport. I think it's awesome. I think you're from Chariho. This matchup's awesome. It's awesome
and matchup. When, these two teams get together in most sports, a lot of times you can kind of throw out the records. to some degree.
Oh, yeah.
I think both sides get a little bit more up for a game like this for sure,
100%.
despite whether we want to admit it or not as players. I know I kind of did when I was a player. So hopefully we get the best version of both teams tonight.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And then we'll see how it plays out after that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, just one of the games is just as a player, you got it marked on your calendar.
You do.
Right? You do. You got it marked on your calendar. That's how it was with Stonington. I'm sure Chariho was Westerly, Gansett. I'm sure all those teams, same with Westerly. And it's awesome to have that, as a player to have that experience and as a coach as well. So that's awesome. But anyway, we'll go off high school ball for a second.
Yep.
I love talking about life. I love talking about things. So, Coach, man, I saw you with a Tom Brady jersey the first time I met you. You're a big Tom Brady guy?
I'm a big Tom Brady fan. Yeah,
Listen,
he was a big part of my childhood and just watching the Patriots. And
yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm like a full-fledged Patriots fan. I'm definitely a Tom Brady fan.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah, he's a legend, man. Tom Brady. And I'm a Chariho Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what
Dallas
that is.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm hiding the star in the camera. I'm embarrassed. I was cold. It was the last jacket I had.
Hey, listen, tough season. They had injuries. Dak got hurt. It is what it is. They'll be back, and hopefully, they hire a pretty good head coach.
We'll take you.
No, I'm not coaching. I can't coach football. I help do the strength and conditioning stuff for the Chariho football team. You don't want me calling the plays, though. No, you don't want that.
I don't know, man. You might be better than who we have. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I've heard reports that Jerry Jones talked to Dion, too.
Honestly,
I don't know. I feel like if Dion got a good enough offer, I know he was, kind of hard set on staying at Colorado.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if he got the right offer, though, I feel like he would jump at that opportunity.
I think he should take it. I mean, to be in this, it's a huge spotlight. That's the biggest
thing.
That's him, though. He's prime, dude. That's literally him. I think for him, if he can get really good coordinators at the professional level, he would thrive for the Cowboys, because the Cowboys' problem is all these players are in the spotlight and they're too much to this. Like Micah Parsons is one of the best players in the league, I think, but the way you put him on the mic, he says things that he might not even mean, because he's still young. But if you get that leader as a head coach to be able to just discipline these guys and be like, hey, let's calm it down and get true character. I feel like Dion is the last person you should disrespect, because he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You could argue he's a top 5, top 3, or the best defender ever.
Yeah.
So to have that role model, I think that would be perfect for that.
Well, yeah, especially, he's been there, done that, just like you said, right? Yeah. He was the best player in football, arguably at one point in his career. He also was so good at another sport that he decided to play that professionally as well with baseball. So, yeah, just having that resume for Coach Prime, I think he would do a really good job with kind of wherever he goes. And if you listen to him talk, he is such a great motivator, man. Dude. He is so well spoken. He really gets his message out there, and you can tell that it's not fake.
It's not fake.
He's out there, and that's just how he feels.
Yeah.
And you can really see that through him. And that's why I kind of look at him a lot too, as far as coaching. Right. Because, hearing the things that he says, I learn a lot from him, and, not only about coaching, but just about your life perspective in general. His is so good. And I have the ultimate respect for Deion Sanders.
Same. And that's how I at first, I kind of was like, man, when he got the job, I'm like, at Colorado even, I'm like, he's kind of funky. He's got his own style. He loves being in the spotlight. But when you really dissect him and you take out what the out crowd's saying, that, oh, this guy's bad, and you really listen to him talk, like you said, and really preach. I mean, he's awesome.
He's all about the work.
Dude, he's all about it.
Obviously, he handles the spotlight really well, but you don't get in the spotlight unless you really put in that work.
Right.
And he's done a great job at Colorado turning that program around. And I hope for your sake, that does end up happening with the Cowboys.
I hope so, man. I hope Prime. If you're listening, Prime Time Dion.
Yeah, right.
321 Media right here, buddy.
I'm sure he's locked in and tuned in right now.
Right now. Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah, I think he's just, he was a person that faced so much adversity throughout his life.
He's an underdog.
He went ever since college, and even in high school, he wasn't highly recruited. He got his only offer, one of his only offers from Michigan, went there and just kept having setback after setback after setback. Right. And he didn't play until his senior year.
That's what I love.
And, after that senior year, he was still in competition the next year with a new freshman that they came in, or maybe it was junior, senior year, whatever it was. But he had played well the previous season, and then he still had to go in and show why he should have been still the starting quarterback with that new freshman coming in. I can't remember his name off the
From
top
Michigan,
of my head.
are we talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
at Michigan.
they like split. I'm pretty sure.
They were splitting.
Yeah.
And, he still had to go in there and prove it each and every single day. And he said, I was watching something the other day in an interview that he had, and, he treated every single day like the Super Bowl. And I know it sounds like cliche, but no matter how much time you get, whether it be in practice or the games, he just tried to do the best that he could. And eventually you start doing, good in those small moments. The coach slowly starts to trust you more, right? He or she sees the work that you're putting in, and it eventually will lead to really good things. And, I just love his work ethic and everything he stands for.
Nah, me too. I completely agree. Just he's literally the all-time GOAT. It's like, in my opinion, I'm a Jordan guy, so I think Jordan and him are just the top mindset, everything they do. But the thing I love about Tom Brady that separates him from so many people was kind of how we talked about how he worked his way up. He stuck in his system. He was like the seventh, or at Michigan, I think he was like a seventh string or something.
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
something like that.
It was some whack number. But nowadays, if you're the seventh string of a program, 90% of the people hit the transfer portal.
It's like second string now.
Yeah,
if you're second string, you hit the portal.
It's like the foundation part. I think that built Tom Brady. It pushed him to be better, to work up in the standings, even on his own team.
Yep.
I think that from that aspect, that's what created the legend of Tom Brady. And I think that he took advantage of it better than anyone ever did. So
yeah,
I mean,
and his teammates saw how much he was dedicated, not only on the field, but obviously how he took care of his body too.
Yeah.
And how he got his mind right to. Yeah, I know. He looked freaking younger. I know.
He's got like an 8-pack right now. He's 50.
Yeah, I know. He's still in excellent shape. He will be for a while for sure. But yeah, just how he went about everything in his day to day. Like, everybody else on the team sees that and like, hey, if he can do it and he's, our quarterback and stuff like that, we need to try to follow him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we talked about, you said you listen to Deion Sanders' coaching tips. What's the number one coach that you love listening to the most that you're like, wow, he inspires me to be awesome?
Gino, man. Gino Auriemma.
Yeah. UConn?
Yeah. I just love his perspective about things. Just the way he talks. And, I was listening to an interview that he had with somebody the other day, actually. And he said how winning can hurt your program too. Like he talked about his, 4-year run where he won 4 straight national championships.
Dominance.
He said he wanted to schedule games where his team would lose, but they just kept on winning. He was trying to put his team in a situation to where they could lose, just so they could face that little bit of adversity, right? To try to come back from. But yeah, just the way he kind of runs his program, the way he operates. I love listening to Gino Auriemma. He's one of the greatest basketball coaches to ever step foot on this earth.
Absolutely. I agree. I can't stand UConn basketball, but listen, I might get hit here. I
just like him though.
He's honestly, he's the greatest. You're definitely greatest women's, I'd say. I mean, he's right up there with, Staley or whatever. And he's inspiring for sure. I mean, to obviously have that team. And like you said, like sometimes those great coaches, they're cool with losing at a certain point because they're like, okay, let's test our guys and see where they're at mentally. Like I saw a thing about the Dream Team one time, how they, 1992, and they got that coach from the Pistons who was coaching their team, and he actually scheduled them against the college kids, the top college kids that were coming up, and the college kids actually beat the Dream Team. And the example was, hey, you guys can get beat. Don't think that you guys cannot get beat here, right? Have that mindset that you're not just here. You got to play like this is your last, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And to me, that was like, wow. That was so awesome. Like a great coach. You have the best players in the world.
Yep.
And you're like humbling them. I think
because with winning and on any team, no matter how great the players are, there is some level of complacency.
Yeah.
At some points that could happen. So trying to, get a game in there maybe where, you are more susceptible to lose and will really help your team. And adversity just makes you in any aspect of your life a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. I have a comment here. Ben said early on in the show, I'm sorry, he's 24 now. Yeah, man. Time is flying, Ben.
Yeah, I am. I'm getting old.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. Me and Ben have a joke that he's getting old. We always have a joke.
Yeah, right.
Ben, man, time's flying. Coach LaBelle, man, time's flying when you're having fun. That's it, man.
It is, yeah. I can't believe I'm already in my 4th year at the helm. and I'm
crazy.
I'm so grateful
That's
for it.
awesome.
Just trying to take each and every single day and enjoy it, because you never know, no matter how healthy you are,
Dude,
no
yeah,
matter
it's a
what.
blessing, man.
It's just a
Honestly,
blessing every day to be able to wake up and enjoy life, and that's how I try to live life each
awesome.
and every single
It's
day to
awesome.
the fullest, because you never know what could happen.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely, man. Great. That's beautiful for real. It's crazy. It's crazy. No, it is awesome. I'm just thinking still, like, to be young, that must be the coolest thing. I'm acting like I'm older, but if I'm just putting in my perspective, having that job a couple of years, it must be just the greatest
Oh, I
feeling.
was pumped, man, especially being able to go back to my alma mater. Like,
Yeah, it's
that
your home.
was
Your home. It's
that
not
was
like you're in.
amazing. I was fortunate to be a part of 2 state championship teams as a player
I
there,
know.
one in basketball and then one my senior year in baseball. And just being able to go back there where I had not only so much athletic success, but like I said, the teachers there were amazing.
Yeah,
And
to
to
give
just be able to
back.
go back to that
Yeah, man.
community and try to be the best role model and coach that I can be for all the players I get to coach is really special. And I don't take it for granted whatsoever.
That's awesome.
Each and every single day. Like, I know sometimes you go through life and you're like, oh yeah, I got to do this again. Got to do this again.
Yep.
I try to have the mindset every day of like, I get to go do this. Right. Like,
Right.
I'm so grateful to be in that position, because a lot of other people probably would want to be in that position.
Oh, of course.
Too. And I know the responsibility that I have to not only be the best coach, but the best role model I can be for all these young women that I coach. And I try to do that to the best of my ability each and every single day.
That's awesome. Awesome stuff. We're 46 minutes in. Yeah, I love keeping track. It's awesome.
Yeah, right.
It's going by. It's having fun. We were talking last night at the end of the game. My father was there, and we brought up your state title. To go back, how was that feeling to win as a basketball player? Not the way, the Burville kid threw it up, and that video was funny. It was awesome. Awesome way to win a title.
Yeah.
Great game winner, but describe the feeling of just being like, wow, like, we won a dang state title. How does that feel?
It was, I mean, there's not many better feelings in the world, man. Especially when you go through a season with a group of guys. You work so hard each and every single day with them in practice. And you want to do it for your teammates as well, not only just yourself. And that's why we were able to win that state championship. But as soon as, my fellow sophomore at the time, Tommy Longaluco, finished that layup, I was like, man, we just did it. After
crazy.
all of the sprints, after all of, the hard work that Coach Downey put us through, it was all worth it. And, that was a special season for me too, because I was a sophomore at the time. And early on in the season, I was kind of struggling to find some court time. And, I even asked to go down to JV to get some playing time.
Yeah, just to get
had
in.
a conversation with, Coach Downey, but Coach Downey told me, he's like, hey, just stay patient. You're doing some of the right things. You just need to work on, these certain things in order to be able to get more playing time.
Right.
So I stuck with it. And as the season went on, I slowly started getting more and more and more minutes. And then when it got to a point, second half of the season on, I was a really integral part of the team. I got a lot of playing time, and, in the playoffs, I got a good amount of court time as well. So that was really my first first time facing adversity, because growing up, just because of my size and like just my athletic ability to some degree, obviously I worked hard, but I hadn't faced that adversity yet.
That was the first wall. You were like,
yeah,
whoa,
like,
I'm not
man,
seeing the court.
I'm not playing, So I think I responded in the right way. I knew I had to change things. I had to look at myself internally and be like, hey, I'm not where I'm supposed to be at to get playing time on this team, because we obviously had a great team. We won a state championship. So I knew I had to work a lot harder than, what I was at the beginning of the season. And just seeing that, full circle moment of, being on the bench for most of the game to then, being on the court when, everybody stormed the court. It was an amazing feeling for me.
Awesome.
My grandpa was there on the sideline calling the game as well, along with my uncle.
Awesome.
My brother was also on the team. He was a freshman at the time.
Wow.
My cousin was a senior on the team. He was on the team.
And
so many of our family members were there that day, which that makes it, just that much
wholesome
more
feeling.
special.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome.
But yeah, that team was one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. Coach Downey did a great job of drawing up that play. I loved playing for Coach Downey. Like, he, he's tough on you, but, at the end of the day, he wants what's best for you and the team. And, he knew how to hit certain buttons with people. And he was just such a great role model for me. He instilled the ultimate confidence in me. My job was to go out there and, make sure to give the ball to people on time, shoot when I was open, obviously, but more importantly, get after it on the defensive end.
Yep.
I always had, one of the tougher assignments on the
Yep.
basketball court, and I knew that was my job, and I knew he gave me the confidence to be able to go out there and do that to the best of my ability.
It's the best feeling.
I knew he always had my back, and he always told me that I could do it.
Yeah.
And, when
That's
you hear
awesome.
that from somebody, you're like, yeah, I can do this.
That's it, right? Yeah, absolutely,
So,
man. Just the
special season.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, especially the way that you hit adversity, like you said, and for the first time, really, right? And to take that adversity and use it to the team's success, it's just awesome. That's the mindset everyone should have. Hey, how could I get better? And even hey, even if I'm not getting that moment, why not ask to go to JV just to play?
Yeah,
right. You want to see the core as much as possible. The way that you handled it. Success went to the ceiling for you guys. You guys won it all. That must have been the greatest feeling.
and what made that team so successful was, we would play starters against, the bench guys, right? But us bench guys would make sure we went at them each and every single day.
Those are the best practices.
Because we were fighting for playing time,
of course,
obviously. And at the end of the day, those bench players are so important to a basketball team because they are the ones who challenge the starters in practice, right? And just in general, everybody needs to challenge each other in practice. And I feel like, that team in particular, we had, two good groups right there, along with a few others, obviously, that were on the varsity team, to where we were able to go at each other every day in practice. And it really led to, that success eventually.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you could see it even revolving now. They're a very young team, the boys with Coach Downey, but they have two lineups, in my opinion. They have so many combinations they can do. I love watching them play. They're so young. They have two seniors, Aiden Rice and Sean Westnage, but the young guys, they have, I forgot the number of sophomores, a lot. Most of their lineups are sophomores. Other than them two, it's mostly sophomores. And the way that they're stepping up, and you could see their growth as well as you guys throughout the season, it's just so fun to watch, man, and see that you can have a bench where, okay, usually people have like an 8-man rotation where they consistently play. They have 10 guys that can just go in and be like, hey, I got the job. I can do this thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like someone each night for them starts lighting it up. And it's cool to watch them. And I think that must have been a similar thing for you guys. I mean, just to have those numbers and everyone's ready to play. And, those guys that are practicing, right? I can't imagine how hard those practices are because just that not only the competition with your team, but to push each other to be better every day and really challenge those starters, because when you're playing at a high level, those starters, those bench players are making them better at practice. So it's awesome to see that. It really is awesome. And obviously it resulted in the state title for you guys. So that's awesome. But I'll have one more question and then we'll kind of go to close. You got that feeling of winning as a player. What would it feel like winning as a coach? And how could you get to that level eventually?
Man, I think it would feel that much more satisfying as a coach. Just through being fortunate enough to be able to win the Westerly Community Credit Union basketball tournament last season. Awesome. I can just speak from that. And that's just like, obviously it's a smaller tournament, but it means a lot to the teams that are involved.
It means so much. Absolutely.
And that was really like amazing for me as a coach because, you're kind of, one of the leaders, right? You're making sure everybody's trying to be in the right situation, positions on the floor, all that stuff. And it would mean a whole bunch to eventually bring a state championship to the Chariho girls basketball team. Just because I was able to win it as a player and I know what it feels like to win that as a player. And I want that feeling for the players eventually. That's awesome. To be able for them to experience that. And for me as a coach, like that would just be a surreal feeling.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And that would be amazing. And I would really love to do that one day. And we're going to try to take, the steps each and every single day to try to get there. Right. And I think it just comes down to coming in each and every single day with a level of, focus, intensity that you have to be able to get to that level. And it's a grind, right? All the season's long. Things happen outside of, basketball that can take away from, your focus and, everyone's got stuff that they're dealing with. If somebody says they don't, then they're lying.
They're lying.
So it's just being able to try to tell the girls, like when we're in this for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whenever we're here, right? We got to focus on this, right? Let this be a distraction from whatever is going on in your life, right? Because I know it was a distraction for me. Like these 2 hours, we're focusing, we're all in this together. And as soon as we can get that level of consistency each and every single day, along with, the off-season commitment as well, I'm a firm believer that we can eventually win a state championship, no matter what the division may be.
That's awesome. Well said, man. Well said. For real. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope that for you one day, man. It'd be awesome.
But if not, I just hope we, keep a good culture, more importantly, a culture of unselfishness, a culture of, instilling hard work into the girls, and that nothing's going to be given to you, because that's how life is.
Right.
And you got to be unselfish in some spots, and you got to be able to, work through adversity and, do a little self-evaluation as well of like where you're at, and just trying to instill those life lessons. If, anything else, like that's the most important thing at the end of the day, besides the winning.
Absolutely, man. Even you'd know this as a player and a coach. I mean, just the reflection of life that goes through sports is just so remarkable. It really is. Just, whether it's having that brotherhood playing, right, with your best buds, and just going to war with them, right, at practice. Then they're like your war buddies when you're going against other teams. And it's just like, it really can define you as a person, honestly, sports, the way you work every day at practice and do all this, and the discipline that comes with it to be the best you can every single day. It's not easy.
No.
And that's what keeps the great ones great. It's incredible.
Well, that's a perfect example. I had that relationship with the Westerly boys JV coach, Lucas Santos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were a lot of the same type of player. We got after it on the defensive end, and, we would really challenge each other in practices. And we even got to play a little bit together at UConn Avery Point in junior college as well.
Oh, yeah.
But, just being able to go at, we made each other so much better, and
awesome.
like you said, like you grow a lot more respect for that person.
Dude,
Not only when you're on the same team, like you're going to be able to trust that person is going just as hard as you, right? And you know that person always going to have your back. But also just now I have a really great relationship with him.
That's awesome.
We talk every week. I'm so happy that he got into coaching too, because he really loves the game. He's a very energetic guy, and he's a great communicator as well. I'm so happy that he's doing what he's doing, and I'm definitely proud of him for that.
Yeah, absolutely. He was on the show. Actually, the first basketball one of the year. I think it's been you and then him.
Yep.
So two guys that get along, two young coaches, and that's what it's all about, man. Just making people better every day as people. And I could tell you guys install that into your players, and it's awesome. It really is
Appreciate
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's what it's all about, making people better, like you said, as people, work ethic, and all that. So it's a great thing, man. It's a great thing that's coming up for the local towns, man. This is what it's all about. So it's awesome. Really is. Coach LaBelle, you got anything else to say, man? This has been a great show.
Yeah, this has been a great show. I just want to thank you again for, letting me hop on here with you. I hope, eventually I get to learn a little bit more about you too,
of course.
As we continue to talk and things like that. But like I said, you and your dad do such a great job. And thank you to Ben Barber as well. 321 Media, like being able to cover all of the sports. I think my grandpa said it the other day on Sports Open Mic, like, I don't know exactly, but I know it's got to be a big time, operation. Being able to get the cameramen there, making sure you guys have what you need to be able to, call the game effectively. And, just really great job by Ben. And thank you guys again, because, you guys help give, a lot of entertainment to the game. And like I said, I go back and watch the games. We have a video streaming service, but whenever we have a home game, I'm going to YouTube and I'm listening to you guys to break down the film, just because you guys are very energetic. You guys give a lot of good insight into the game, and you guys are passionate, and you guys are really doing a good job of getting to know the players as well. Like you guys work extremely hard. You can just tell. You can tell that you care about the Chariho community now, even though being a Westerly person,
you end up attaching.
But you guys are doing a great job getting to know everybody, and we really appreciate what you, your dad, and Ben are doing as well.
We appreciate that, man. The whole team of 321, honestly. It's been such a eventful year for 321, honestly. Couldn't thank them enough. Ben's been so great to me, all these guys. I say it a lot. And the biggest thing I feel like 321 is it's for the community, man. I think I've came to a huge conclusion. It's for the kids. I mean, who doesn't want to go back and look at their games some years from now? And obviously you're watching film, but could you imagine just sitting with your friends or your family and you get to show your kid one day, hey, this was me playing? Like,
exactly. It's big for people that can't make it to games.
Yeah. My grandparents and all that, if they're living down south or anywhere that they can't make the game.
They can just turn it on the TV.
It's awesome. It's
maybe
crazy.
With the help of a younger person or something like that to set it up, right?
You're gonna call, hey,
like, how do I do this?
How do you work this? Can you come over?
How do I get YouTube on here?
That's so awesome. That's spot on. My goodness. But yeah, man, this 321 thing. It's praying that it keeps on moving up, man. This thing it's only going up. It ain't going
Yeah,
down, man. This has been
absolutely is.
a great thing for the community of Stonington, Chariho, and Westerly. So, yeah, it's been great. It's been great, man. Anything else you got, Coach?
No, just I'm looking forward to the game tonight. If
Yep.
anybody has an opportunity, make sure you come out to Chariho High School.
Yes.
Varsity starts at 6:45. Should be a great night of basketball. And if you can't get to the game, make sure you watch on 321 Media.
There you go, Coach.
Jacob and Coach Russ will be on the broadcast.
Absolutely, we'll be ready, man. It'll be a fun one, Coach. I'm excited for you tonight. Obviously, being a Wesley guy, it's fun. Chargers have grown with me completely, by the way. So this is a very attached group for it. You do get close to everyone there. Being around, you become a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
So it's fun, man. I cannot wait for it tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
I
luck,
can't
man.
wait either. Thank you.
Good luck,
Appreciate
Coach.
that.
All right, guys. That's Coach LaBelle for you. We're gonna get to the close.
Touchdown, Westerly!
A chance for the Chargers, and they score.
In the front, Luzzy again!